Hello and welcome to my channel. This is Darcy's Misadventures with Mixed Media. If you remember a few weeks ago, I did some layering on the plate. I want to do something similar. I will link that video in the description box. Also, Quirky Queens has done something somewhat similar but different. So I'll link her video as well. And then I have these in my Ko-fi, on my Ko-fi page as freebies, and you can cut them, you can cut them smaller as you cut them, or you can print them smaller to fit, your gel plate or whatever. But this was just something I thought would be fun to have and to make, and you can use them in your ephemera as layering pieces, or in your collages or whatever, and pieces that you print, or, as a small business, you can also use them in printed things you create. Of course, digitally, they are my own creation. So, of course, I have that caveat saying please don't use them in your digitals. These might be a little bit big, so I'm going to just cut them inside the line. That way they get a little bit smaller. Trying to think. I don't know that I would have wanted them half size, and I've printed them from my phone, so I'm not totally sure that I would be able to, I don't know how to print them like at 70% or whatever from my phone. And I didn't feel like, I didn't know till I came downstairs what size they were. Also, if I were smart, I would have printed them on cardstock to use on the gel plate. If I were using these on ephemera, then, paper would be just fine. And I went ahead and made them, pretty colors so that if you want to use them, so that you could use them, if you didn't want to use them as template, as masks on the gel plate, you could totally do that. And, you could do like me and just use it as a general guide and cut it not exactly where the lines are. That's your prerogative. Make it your own. That's fine. You can cut it a little bit differently. So, I'm going to cut the rest of these out. And my printer prints to the edge, so this got cut off just a little bit. But that's alright, because I'll just cut it just a little bit smaller to round it off. Not a real big deal. But I made the lines nice and thick, so they could be cut out easily. Alright, I'll be back. Okay, so the piece that I'm making is either going to be on an 8x10 canvas or a 9x12 canvas. And I need room in the middle for a quote. So I'm thinking that I will do something, a mask in the middle. I don't need it to be perfectly round, but I also, one of them I might do perfectly round, the other one I might not. I don't know. So I will make myself a couple masks. Instead of cutting it out, I decided that I would just put it underneath so that I can see it, and then I'll just make sure that the tips of the leaves don't go all the way in, so that I have some plain space in the middle, instead of doing the masks. And I don't know, my last layer I might have to do something in the middle just to make it lighter, depending. I don't know what the words might be. White, they might be black, I don't know. We'll see. All right, I'm going to do it a little bit more like how Kirsten did it. I'm going to do it on tissue, and then I can put the tissue onto a canvas. That's my idea. And she started with a dark color. I think she started with black on one of hers. And I will link her video below. So, and from my experience, it's best to use either transparent colors or really thin layers, so that you can see everything through it, you know what I mean? Of course there's a string on there. Why would there not be a string on my brayer? That's been sitting over to the side. I'm going to do it a little bit, well, maybe. Alright, have I grabbed my tissue paper yet? No. Nope, I have not. Oh my goodness. I'm not worried about that because that's a bottom layer. Oh, and because these are paper, they're not going to leave. Oh, now I'm getting my fingerprints all over. Oh, how annoying. Just annoying myself already. Welcome to my life. Hey, maybe I'll do both. I wasn't going to do both, but I see this is maybe a bigger piece than I realized, and I could use both types of, because I definitely wanted a, I'm going to go over the paint again. I definitely wanted a naturey kind of a theme. In fact, I'll have to remember this when I do nature's, what is it called? I might do a more opaque for this first layer, actually. Yep, I'm all about changing my mind. I think I'll start with green, because this is a Sap Green Permanent by Master's Touch. Get them at Home Depot. Because I know a lot of her, she wants me to make two, my mother-in-law. She wants me to make one for her to hang and one for her to give as a gift. And hers is in her dining room, where she showed me where she's going to hang it. It's in her dining room, which, you know what? I might have just thought of a much simpler way to do this for me. I might leave these just all down, and then the thing that I'll change is the position of my paper. That feels easier than picking these up every time. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, it's best to use, I'm using paper instead of cardstock. And now you can see why you don't use paper instead of cardstock. Do you think I want to cut these out again? No, I do not. So I'm either going to make this work, or I'm going to go cut them on or I will go and cut them. That's way too much. On my Cricut, one or the other. We'll see. I think once they have a layer of paint on them, they might stay a little better. Or if I had not put paint down in the first place. One or the other. Yep. This is working great. Alright, well, let me at least pick something up. And I may have to pause and go cut these on. Alright, so this is wet strength tissue paper. It's a little bigger than 9 by 12. So I just kind of want to center it where my circle is. So there's one layer, and I don't mind that some of the paint comes up. So I think that I may just turn my paper and see what happens. Let's take some more paint off of this, see what we can get off here of the paint. Because I have my 12 by 12 plate, so I can go two directions pretty easily. Just clean some of this off. And then so green, which also has a little bit of brown in it, which is nice. Oh, I was saying about it's a round room, and in between all the windows, she has paintings that her husband has done, and he mostly has done. Most of them are on like a saw blade, so everything's round. But she didn't necessarily want another round thing to put on the wall. Plus, his are much smaller, so his are probably a little bigger than this circle right here, the saw blades. So I figured if I do a circle in the middle, then we're repeating the circle for the room, so it will be cohesive. That's ideally what we're looking for. That's the hope anyway. So, and then the other one, I don't know. I figured I'll do one with a circle and one a little more wonky. And you'll see if I do any doodling. I haven't done any of things I've made for in a doodling with doodling on it. So, well, not really, sort of. I did the I don't know if I ever showed you guys the hydrangea one that I did. I think I have a video on it. I'll have to look it up. But I basically did like wasn't watercolor. Might have just been watered down acrylic paints that I had done on a canvas, and they were just, you know, abstract, and then I added the lines for it afterwards. Alright, so I'm still getting similar effects, I think. And then this is my cleanup paper so that I can have all kinds of fun things happening so I don't have all the color coming up every time. Little quinacridone nickel azo gold, because you know we love that. I don't know how many layers I want to do. Just hoping, you know, if it can look good and I don't have to go back and recut stuff, that'd be great. But I suggest, at the very least, use cardstock. At the very, very least. And also, you might want to use, I'm going to go a little bit lower this time. No, I don't know if I went lower or not, but or if you have like a transparency to cut them out on that, which, or you can even just like kind of like print it out and then put a plastic piece over it and then trace everything and then cut it out. That's a possibility too. How do I feel about this? It's getting a little too, I don't know if I like the two different ones. I think I prefer like maybe one at a time. I'm gonna have to go recut these. All right, let me pick up these bits that will be left on the plate, which maybe that'll end up being what I like. You never know what you're gonna, what's gonna end up working for what you're doing. Sometimes you have a plan in your head of what you want to do, and then things happen and you're like, hey, wait, actually this looks kind of cool, because you know this is looking kind of cool. Is that paper? Nope, was not paper. It's pretty bad if you can't tell if you've left paper or if it's just paint on the plate. Oh my goodness gracious. So yeah, I thought I would take you guys along on creating a wall art piece. I don't do them very often, usually just my mother-in-law. Because I'm afraid to ship them. I don't know how much shipping would be and stuff like that is one reason that I don't do like canvas art like this. So I might want to pick this up with, oh, let's see, we got browns, grays, yellows, greens, and browns mostly. So I might just pick it up with a buff. Ooh, how about if we just pick it up with our, what is this? Buttermilk. We'll pick it up with buttermilk. That'll give a nice creamy. Do we have to pick it up with just one color? No, we can add something else in there. What? I don't know. Her favorite color is red. Would it be, that's orange. Would it be weird if we put just a little, that would make it pink if I put some red in there. So, maybe not. This is going to pick up whatever color is on my brayer too, because I have not cleaned off my brayer. Because why would I do that? But I kind of like that my brayer's adding a little bit of what's in the foreground to the background. That makes me happy. You know what I'm tempted to do? Do you? Tissue paper, schmishy paper. Don't dry on me. Don't dry on me. Don't dry on me. Of course they're not where I thought they'd be. Where I had, oh my goodness. Lady, stop looking. Just put the tissue paper down and pick it up. I was like, where did I put my canvases? I have some canvases like from the Dollar Tree that are just plain. Right, I'm putting the softer side down. Trying to get it somewhere in the middle. Not perfectly. And then I'll pick up the edges with some tissue as well, in case I need any patch jobs happening anywhere. If this is what I decide to use, who knows? Yeah, I don't think I've ever given her anything that I've jelly plate printed either, so I thought, well, that might be nice. I also thought I might do something with one of my stencils that's in the shop. Because, like, I don't think she's really, I sent her the link, but she doesn't have real great internet, so I don't know that she's really even looked at my stencils in the shop either. So now I like those colors, but I might need to add a little bit more red type colors for her, because red is her favorite color. And I think her husband always puts like a little pop of red in his paintings. So I may want to have some red. So let's see, I could do a long haul with these, except for, you know, make them either cut them on Yupo or cut them on cardstock, so they last at least through one session. Those didn't even last through one session, did they? Do I dare pull this now? I don't know. Did not go all the way to the edge, which is fine if I end up using an 8 by 10. So this is what we have for this piece, which I think is interesting. I kind of like the idea of whatever I just did here. It looks, and I don't know if I could get that with cardstock. I think it has to be thinner like this paper to get these, or maybe not. All right, I'm going to go cut either on Yupo or cardstock or something thicker, so I have more longevity with my pieces, and figure out how it is I want to do this. And I think I'll put green down and then put the pieces down so that these are more green. And I might just freehand cut them, because I could do that, and some of you can do that too. But for those that don't freehand cut, you've got the free printable on Ko-fi, which is linked below. My Ko-fi site is always linked below, and there are some freebies in there and digitals in there. I think I'm going to be getting rid of my Etsy shop, because I can't do as much in there, and I definitely did not put anything in Etsy for Christmas time, because they're like guaranteed delivery by Christmas. I'm like, I don't need that kind of pressure in my life. All right, I shall return. Okay, I kind of got a little bit smarter this time, and when I cut, well, they're smaller, but when I cut them, I folded the paper and cut two at once. So at least I got a little bit smarter. And, oh yeah. And I just took a picture of it so that I can potentially turn this into an actual stencil that could be available in the store. You know, we'll see. Because it would be good for like a journal page, especially if I could, yeah. I don't know. We'll see. Because it would have space for writing in the middle is what I'm thinking. So yeah, it could be a good journal page one. All right, I think I'm going to pick it up with green after I, you know, put these down, maybe. So I'm going to use every other color and then pick it up with green at the end. All right, we'll start with, oh, and if you're doing the long haul, then you do want to use transparent colors for the most part, or like I said before, use very thin layer of if you're using an opaque paint, just make sure you're using like a really thin layer. And so we'll see. I don't know. And if this doesn't work for me, then I'll go create that stencil and I'll print it, cut it out, and come back and do that. I gotta remember to get to the edges, because I need at least one edge. And I'm gonna turn it as I go, turn my papers as I go, so that I can have them going different directions. All right, and we'll pick up the edges so we don't have a lot of stuff left when we turn the pages. And because the idea is that I will, whichever one is my favorite, or maybe the final pickup or something, I'll have something that I'll be able to put on a canvas. Oops. See, so you have space in the middle. I'm not sure. The placement's not quite right, but that's all right, because it's going to change as I turn it. So, let's try some Nico Azo Gold. I really like using Yupo for this process, which is why I like the stencils from PM Artist Studio, because you get just a little bit picked up from the U-Po as well. You do not get that when you are using, oh my word. All right, so does anybody know what, well, we know this is a different direction for sure than what we just did. So there's that. I was going to say, does anybody know which direction I did a second ago? I don't. So that's a tip. If you want to do stencils and you want to keep a place for journaling, just put something underneath to mark where you don't want your stencils to be, so that you have, see, that's cool. So you have a place. All right, let's get the edges. A lot of times these pickup papers end up being just as fun to use somewhere, most likely in, oh, sorry, Mariah. I can't help it if things move. I started out straight at the beginning. How's the camera? The camera is a little bit, I don't know. So yes, Mariah, I do hear you in my head. She asked that the other day. She's like, do you guys hear when I say things like, I could have sworn I had a purple here. When, just, you know, she likes things straight. So she's like, do you hear me when I say it? Sometimes. All right, I said that my mother-in-law likes red, right? So we definitely need to make sure that we have a red layer in here. This is quinacridone magenta, but that's all right. And usually, well, good paints will tell you if it's transparent or not. These are cheaper paints, probably. The Artsmith, I mean, nothing wrong with them, but they don't tell you if they're, and it is light fast, that's good to know, but it does not tell you if it's transparent or not. Although this one seems to be somewhat transparent because I can see the white paper underneath all the way to the you know, the back. Let's see. Pick it up this way this time. And if I could just be off just a little bit each time, that's good too. Oops, pick up my edges. I thought I was going to use more tissue, but I'm just kind of using one over and over again until I like it, and then maybe I'll switch, or I'll have a couple that I maybe switch between. Might be a good idea too for like these pickups. All right, were you worried that the pink was gonna, well, it's gonna change as we, I'm gonna let this dry for a minute, and I will get a fresh piece of paper, fresh piece of wet sponge tissue paper to use. I don't think that I've opened this yet. Have I? Nope. Oh, but you know what? I think I still have some left in the small one, which, well, it was right next to me. Oh, it fell on the floor. Found it. I knew it was there. That will add, that will turn, you know, the quackadone magenta, and that will now kind of give it more of a little, maybe a little bit of a purpley, blurple. That's what you call it when it's mostly blue but has a little bit of pink in it. I need to clean off my desk. We need a clean sesh, people. I'm pretty sure that in January I will be doing some tidying, organizing, and the like. And I will try to be just as, should we do it the other way this time? Do it the slick side down. Oh, did not really, well, you know, that might be a happy accident. Getting the wrinkles in there, because that will just give more stuff in the background. For funsies, more funsy stuff. I tend to get more wrinkles if I put it the slick side down, I think. That's what I learned when I was doing the Kintsugi Houses prompt the other day. Alright, see, you got a little bit of pink showing through here as well, so you get blurple. It's a bluish purple. I don't know, it's a term coined by the arty people of, how about Payne's Gray? That, I dye my hair with Arctic fox, and I used to like follow a lot of YouTubers and whatnot that dyed their hair with Arctic fox, and the lady that, you know, owns the company, and that was one of the colors that they would, if sometimes you'd end up with like a bluish purple when you did your hair, and that's where blurple came from, I think. That's where I first heard it anyway. I used to watch, yeah, when I was growing out my hair, I used to watch a lot more videos of people doing their hair. Alright, this could be cool though, because if I can get like one with one, you know, 2 different pieces or even more that I can then put on a canvas to have, because you know my mother-in-law wants 2, and so yeah. Do I want a bright yellow? That's gonna green out a little too much, right? So let's just do the yellow ochre. I love yellow ochre. It makes me happy. Oh, and I liked it when Barbara was using the yellow ochre with the light blue. That was nice. I like that color combination. Whoops. I should have put a mark on my paper so that I would remember which way I was doing which. So if you do this and you want to turn your paper this way, that way, always, you might want to put a little mark so that you know, start with that mark and then just kind of rotate around with that mark. That would have been a smart thing to do. That was yellow ochre, right? Which will orange out the quinacridone orange that I had. I forgot to pick up the edges. Oh, that's all right. It's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world as we know it. There we go. Are we going to try to beat Patricia's record? Probably not. This is a bright orange. Yeah, and I'll have to like go back in the video and count how many layers I did because I'm not using a tissue for each layer. So there's that. And in order to get 2 pieces that would look like this, I would definitely need, I'm going to do a fresh piece because I don't want to ruin the 2 pieces I just did. Or I'm going to actually just use that piece, which has from the last time. And just keep picking up the edges with this. Why not? Nothing wrong with orange, but this orange is a little safety cone. It's a little bit safety cone. Now, if I want to get an opposite, I don't have enough space for something to clean off my brayer on the side, so we're just going to do that. Alright, so now I might do sap green, which will brown out some of the orange. Uh-oh. I was like, why is that so white? I can see why it's so white. That's the chance you pay, chance you take when you, well, first of all, when you overlap pieces, and second of all, when you're using paper. Stay. So be gentle when you are pulling these up. Alright, this time the paint was thick enough that it stayed on the paper and picked up off the paper, which is a cool effect. That usually happens best with Yupo. So if you want that to happen, use Yupo. I had, oh, this one does say, right? It says permanent. No, it does not have the little box. It's just thick, so you know it's probably good. Oh, it's opaque. See right there, it does. And light fastness is three stars. Now, even though it's opaque, if I do it thin enough, it might be okay. If it's not, then maybe try to press that one. Oh, don't flip up. Oh, I just lost another. Oh, I lost the same one. You know, that one just may be gone forever. We may never see him again. He might be lost, and he's lost. He's lost his chances. Yeah, I know. Sounds really, really harsh, doesn't it? Lost his chance at life on the final product. What happens? You don't play nice. Little masks need to play nice. Also, that's what happens. I'm not even using like a thick cardstock. I'm using like something in between a paper and a cardstock. So, you know, just to annoy myself, apparently. And I don't want this to dry on here, so Also being more careful now when I'm lifting it. If you are overlapping some of your pieces, that's when you're going to chance having them come up. And that's why if I make it a stencil where it's all one piece, you wouldn't have to have it overlapping. So there's that. All right, black. A little bit of black. That looks like it could have been shook, but how in the world are you supposed to shake the thing? All right, I'll probably do this over the green one maybe. Now you can see through it. You can see that white through there. So I'm just going to take this one that I did before and, no, not this one. Well, yeah, I don't love this one. I don't care. I'm okay with that. And just go ahead and pick up this down here. Whoops. Ah, no, you're not supposed to be coming up. Bad mask, bad. See, sometimes you want to go a lot of layers, but you can't because your masks start popping up. And then you're like, well, I guess we're having to pick this up now. But sometimes this is where, like, my ideas for stencils will come from, is I'll just start playing with something like this. You know what? I give up. All right, I'm going to go ahead and pick this up with, probably with green. But also I'm going to probably try to keep it lighter in the middle. So it's going to be, I'm going to pick it up with 2 colors. So yeah, these were definitely not, they were thicker than regular paper, so they're not breaking like the other ones were, but. And then I'm going to go upstairs and I'm going to design a stencil and cut it, and then I'm going to do this the right way. And then I might be able to, if I finish the stencil, I will definitely be able to have it come out in January. Unless Mariah wants to give you guys a Christmas present and have it come out earlier. But, I mean, how often do you get to see the process, the mind process of someone create a stencil, you know? All right. I want it a little bit lighter in the, all right, so I'm going to cover this whole thing in white. So I guess it's buttermilk, actually. So I guess I am picking it up with buttermilk. That way my colors will show better. I'm getting myself a fresh piece, and I'm putting it I'm putting it shiny side up. So the not shiny side is down. Then go ahead and clean up some of this on the edges. Leave that down for a minute. It's wet strength tissue paper, so it can take more of a beating than some things. And if I were smart, I would just leave that down. But since I'm going to go make a stencil, so let me see, how long is this? This is already 33 minutes. So I will try to tag, if I create the stencil and make it, it'll be a new video because this one's already somewhat long. But I will still share it because you guys might like to see how my brain works. And sometimes a stencil is born just from me playing on my Procreate. Sometimes I'm doodling, or sometimes I'm actually playing on the gel plate and seeing, you know, and I'll be able to manipulate things. Like if I like this corner better, I can just repeat that corner up there. Or, you know, make it a little bit more, come in a little bit more. So I should go ahead and take a picture of this too, so that I can see these lines nice and clearly as well. Doesn't really matter either way. So yeah, do I want to pick these up too? Like there's just a little bit left on there. Let's pick it up with, no, this one. The transparent yellow iron oxide. But I do have some pieces to play with now, which is good. Whoops. But if I make the stencil, I might even try to actually pick it up directly on a, I'm doing the shiny side up again. I might be, and I think, oh, I don't know. I'm trying to think. It looks like my, whatchamacallit might have moved. My plate might have moved after I put the paper underneath, but before I put my stencils on, so they might not be quite as centered as I want to, but that's okay. I don't always want things centered. Sometimes not quite centered is better anyway. Alright, I'll have to keep cleaning my plate or use some packing tape will help get the edges off, or I can leave it there as grunge. But yeah, the piece underneath definitely moved. So yeah, this is what we ended up with for today. And these are smaller than the ones that are on the printable, but you can, if you get the free printable on Ko-fi, you can totally, you know, print it smaller so that you can get this kind of a thing to use as mask on your plate. And then also I will turn this into a stencil and show you that in another video coming up soon, hopefully, because I need to have this piece that I'm making. I have to have it done before Saturday because that's when we're seeing my mother-in-law. So I'm not stressed out at all. Have a delightful day, guys. Love you.